The door gets slammed open by a guy with a smirk on his face. I have never seen the man before. He didn't seem too nice either. Finally, I found you, Mr. John. My dad gets up worried and hides me behind him. Mr. Park, my dad tries to speak but stutters. Why my dad so scared of him? I have never seen him react like this. My dad's condition made me worried. The man laughed, hearing my dad's shaky voice. Mr. Papa, ha ha ha. He mocked my dad. I was standing behind dad, confused by the situation. Look what you did with yourself. Didn't I told you to stay in your limits? I stood behind my dad, confused about what the guy is saying. Look, Mr. Park, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know she was your wife. Mr. Park tilted his head to see me behind my dad and smirked. Look who we have here. Who is this? Another one of your sluts? He asked while smirking. Yes, Mr. Park's words made me furious, but my dad's words were like bomb. How he can let him call me, and on top of that, he said yes to him. My face turned red in anger. Suddenly, Mr. Park took out his gun and aimed it on my dad. My eyes widened, looking gun. No, please, no. My dad was begging to him. Mr. Park laughed like a maniac. Don't worry, Mr. John. I won't get my own hands dirty with your blood, he says, and walked out, confusing all of us. As he stepped out of the living room, one of his men pulls a gun out, and before I could understand what's happening, he shot my dad 3 times. For a second, my mind blacked out, but suddenly my senses awakened. Shooting my dad, man walked out like nothing happened. Room was echoing with my screams and pleadings for help. My dad was on the ground. I sat near him, trying to keep him awake. Dad, please stay with me. Let me call an ambulance. I sat holding my dad as he lays on the floor. I was getting my phone out from my jeans pocket to call an ambulance when Dad took it from me. Don't call the ambulance. Dad, why? You need a doctor, I asked while sobbing. He tried to speak but groaned in pain. Help, please help me. Someone help me. Save my dad, please. I shouted, but no one heard. Dad, stay awake, okay? Let me get someone, I said as I ran out the door. As soon as I crossed the door, I bumped into someone, which made me fall on the floor. I looked up to see Taehyung with his cars. I quickly caught up. I knew Taehyung because my dad once introduced me to him in a party. Sir, please help my dad. A man shot him. Please help me. Save my dad, please. I beg you. I cried out, pointing towards the room. He didn't have a shocked expression from my words. Looking me from head to toe, he entered in the room with 4 other men. He looked straight at my dad and gestured a man to go forward. I quickly ran to my dad's side to find him unconscious. Dad, wake up. Dad, open your eyes. The man started checking my dad. He touched his neck, then his wrist. He then put his head on his chest to check his heartbeat. Raising his head up to Taehyung, he said, he's dead. No, you are lying. You are lying. You are not a doctor. Call a doctor. Call an ambulance now. Look, he doesn't have a pulse, the man said, grabbing my hand and placing it on my dad's neck, then his wrist. Please wake him up. He can't die. I wasn't ready to accept the fact that he's dead. I continued shouting and cry loudly with my arms wrapped around my dad. I didn't want to admit that he was gone, even if I'm seeing it with my own eyes. Everyone was simply watching me crying with my dad in my arms. Shut up, I heard someone shout, and I turned to see Taehyung clearing me. He walked towards me and bent down. Our eyes met. He was careful not to get blood on him. He was staring me straight in the eyes. Shut up, my man know really well what he's saying. If he said he's dead, it means he's dead. I looked in his eyes and was thinking how someone can be so cold-hearted. He was one of them who were very close to my dad, but he wasn't looking a little affected by his death. Taehyung got up and called someone on his phone, and who almost immediately picked up. I looked back at my dad and hugged him and was crying. Soon man entered with a stretcher. Putting my dad on the stretcher, they walked out. I was about to leave the room to follow them when someone grabbed my arm, making me turn back. I almost bumped into the person. I looked up and saw Taehyung. Who killed him? He asked as he let go of my arm. I don't know who they were. I have never seen them before, but my dad called him Mr. Park, I said, and he nodded his head. Do you know who he is? I asked him, wanting to know more about my dad's murderer. Will you help me to get revenge? I asked with the hope. I might not know Mr. Park, and Taehyung seems cold hearted, but he might help me since he was very close to my dad. I don't do things for free, he says, and was about to walk out when I grabbed his hand. I wiped my tears with the back of my hand. Then tell me what you want. I will do everything for the revenge. Just help me, I said, and quickly let go of his hand, and his eyes suddenly turned cold. I wasn't sure if it's because of my words or actions. I will think about it, he said plainly. Okay then, I will wait for your answer. Taking shower, I went downstairs and looked in the kitchen for a quick snack. I grabbed a breakfast bar when the doorbell rings. I went to open the door, but as soon as I opened the door, I choked on my snack. It was Taeyong. I didn't know if I should be happy that he finally decided to tell me his answer, or I should be angry at him because he took too long to decide. Once I controlled my coughing, I apologized. He nodded his head like usual. Aren't you gonna invite me in? He asked, raising his one eyebrow. Oh, yeah, sorry, come in, I said, moving aside so he can come in. He sat down on the couch, and I sat opposite him. My heart was pounding in my chest, thinking about his decision. The whole month I was eagerly waiting for this answer because I just had my dad left with me, and they took him away from me. I was left all alone. So, Miss Ryan, I thought about your offer. Then what's your answer? I was dying to hear his answer. I will help you. Really? OMG, thank you so much. He cuts me off in the middle. Not so quick. I have a condition. I need something in return. Like I said, I don't do anything for free, he said in cold tone. I nodded my head. I was afraid, but I had no other choice. He put some paper on the table. I picked them up. They were contract papers. I will help you, but in return, you will marry me. I was shocked by Taeyong's words. Why would he want to marry me? I am a normal girl. He could find the prettiest and the richest girl. Then why me? I have seen the girls in the party drooling over him. Then why he isn't in a relationship? Why do you want to marry me? Because I need a wife and you want revenge, he said blankly. I wasn't expecting this answer from him because he can get any girl he wants, and becoming his wife is the thing thousands of girls want. Then why he would marry me? Just because he need a wife, he will marry me. We don't love each other, nor we ever talk to each other properly. Then why? What if he is just trying to use me? But at least I will get my dad's revenge. Okay, I will do it, I said, and I looked at Taeyong. Taeyong got up and sat next to me, keeping a distance. He then took out a pen and signed the papers. Then he handed me the pen, and I signed it, thinking about getting revenge of my dad. He got up, putting his hands in his pockets. Now this is done. Let's go. Go? Where? I said, being confused. To my house. Now? I said, looking at Taehyung, who was looking frustrated as he sighed. You need to fulfill all the duties as my wife. Please don't argue about this. You have signed the contract, and you will be living with me. Heaving a sigh, I nodded. Okay, then let me pack my stuff, I said as I got up. No need. I have got all the things you could possibly need. Completing his sentence, he started walking towards the door. The whole car ride was silent and was very long. We finally reached the house, and I was shocked by the view. Our mansion is also big and luxurious, but his was huge. Taeyong exited the car, and I followed him. A guard opened the door for us, and I gave him a polite smile and said thank to him, and then entered in the mansion. Finally reaching in front of a door, he said, This will be our room. Our? Do we really have to share the room? I said, feeling uncomfortable. I mean, I don't know the guy, so how could I be sharing the room with him? He turned his face to me, looking me straight in the eye with an annoyed face. His glares were very intimidating. It made me want to run away from him. No one should suspect that it's a contract marriage. We need to make sure everyone thinks that we are in love. If anyone suspects anything, you will be in trouble. Understand? He said, and I nodded my head. Get ready. My parents will be here soon to meet you. He pointed towards a closet, and I entered, looking for what to wear. There were so many dresses to choose from. Entering behind me, he picked up a dress and handed it to me. Makeup artist will come soon to doll you up, he said, examining the dress again. I can do it myself. I didn't ask if you can do it or not. Okay. Hearing me, he walked out of the closet. After taking shower, I put the dress on and I loved it. It fits perfectly. Getting dressed, I sat in front of dressing table. Soon a lady came and did her magic. Nothing was extra. Makeup was flawless and simple, but it enhanced my features, and I was looking simple but classy. Done with the makeup and hairstyle, she left. As makeup artist left, Taehyung entered in the room. Looking me, he smirked. He came near me and took out a velvet box from his pocket. Ignoring the box, I asked, "You said we need to act like it's a love marriage, but I don't know anything about you." There's nothing much to know about me, Ryan. Hearing my name from him sounded really different. My name is Kim Taehyung. I am 29 and I am the CEO of Nexa Enterprises. He opened the box and took out a ring. He stretched his hand to me. I placed my hand in his hand and He slid the ring in my ring finger. The ring was beautiful and fit perfectly. There was an awkward tension between us. I didn't like it. There was still so much I wanted to know about him, but before I could ask anything, there was a knock on the door. Taehyung allowed the person to enter. "Sir, Mr. and Mrs. Kim have reached. We are coming." Me and Taehyung walked downstairs to his parents. I was really nervous. "Don't worry, my parents don't eat people." He must have sensed that I was nervous. I looked at him a little shocked. He really is unpredictable. Sometimes he's cold like ice and sometimes he's smirking at me. I see his parents coming out of the car. I saw his mother and little drops of sweat popped out of my forehead. "Your mom looks so posh. I'm not gonna survive this," I said, whispering. Hearing me, he chuckled a little, making me look at him. He was extremely handsome. I get it why girls die over him. I don't know how I didn't fall for him. Maybe because of the circumstances we met in. His parents entered and we greeted them and sat in the living room. Me and Taehyung's mom were sitting really close. "You must be my son's fiancé," she said. "Yes, I am, Ryan," I answered, trying to hide my nervousness, but suddenly his dad asked, "So how did you two met?" Shit, I forgot to ask him about the basics. I mentally slapped myself for not using my brain. My hands became sweaty suddenly. "We met at one of my restaurants. Ryan used to work there," he says, making me relieved. "Oh, what about your parents? What they do?" Before I could answer, Taehyung answered. Her parents died when she was very young. That's why she had to work to pay for her needs. I was relieved but confused also. "I'm sorry, Ryan." "No, it's fine. Don't worry." I smiled and she smiled back. "So the wedding is in 3 days, right?" His dad tried to change the topic. Taehyung nodded his head as yes, which made me surprised. Suddenly Mr. Kim got up. "We have to go now. Your mom was dying to know about your wife, so we came." Following him, we all got up and followed them to door. "It was nice meeting you, Ryan." "Nice to meet you too, uncle," I said with a smile. "Why calling me uncle? Call me dad like Taehyung." Getting a little embarrassed, I nodded. Taehyung's mom came near me and gave me 2 side kisses. "Welcome to the family," she said and hugged me. Soon they drove off. Taehyung went back to living room, so I followed him. He was sitting on the sofa closing his eyes. "Do you know why they killed my dad?" "Because your dad slept with Mr. Park's wife," he said without any emotion. I was shocked. My dad wasn't like that, but Dad said he didn't know that she was his wife. "My dad can't do such thing," I whispered. "He was drunk," he said and sighed, being frustrated. "And what about his wife? Was she drunk also?" "It doesn't matter, she is dead also. And before you ask, Mr. Park killed his wife for cheating," he said, making me shocked again. "Let's go to bed," he said, walking upstairs. "Oh no, now we have to share the bedroom and bed also. What am I gonna do now? What if he did something with me? Oh God, what I should do now?" Different thoughts were making me worried. Should I go to that room or not? I went to get water as an excuse. Hopefully, when I entered the room, he will be sleeping. When I was done, I slowly started approaching the room. When I entered the bedroom, I didn't see Taehyung. He must be changing, so I went into my closet to look for something appropriate to sleep in. I was looking through the closet for something that isn't revealing type of dress, but it was filled with them for some reason. Ah, is he setting me up? I whispered. I found the less revealing one and put it on after taking a quick shower and doing my night routine. Once I entered the room, I saw Taeyang on the bed, shirtless. Why is he messing with me? I slowly went to bed and laid down. I closed my eyes and was trying to sleep, but it would be hard to sleep with a hot guy next to you. Suddenly, I heard Taeyang's voice. There will be an engagement party tomorrow, so sleep. You will need to wake up early tomorrow. There's a lot to do, he said, but I couldn't see his face since he was facing the other side. Sometimes I feel he's a psychic. How did he know I couldn't sleep? He doesn't speak a lot, but he notices everything. I was lost in my thoughts, so I didn't realize I forgot to reply him. Taeyang turned around and looked straight in my eyes. Yes, I will, I said, feeling intimidated under his gaze. He was still watching me straight in my eyes. Collecting some courage, I asked, "Can I ask you why you choose me to get married?" Some seconds passed, and finally he said, "I wanted a girl who wouldn't want to sleep with me just after looking me." He said, seemed annoyed, but not at me. Is that the only reason? I didn't know what I was trying to hear from him. Because my parents wanted me to get married. They started thinking weird stuff about me, like I'm gay or something. And the reason why I choose you? I'll be honest. Because you were not ruling over me when you first saw me. Don't you think when we met I was in a pretty depressing place of my life? How could I start dreaming about a guy? I said, and he smirked a little. You should sleep now. Next evening, makeup artist came, putting on my gown, which was very beautiful. I sat on the chair for makeup artist to do my hair and makeup when Taehyung entered in the room. Hey, gorgeous, he said, and his words made me shocked. But then I realized makeup artist was with us in the room. That's why he talked in that tone. Hi, handsome, I replied, trying to look as natural as possible. I slightly cringed at my words, but I had no other choice. He came towards me and kissed my cheek. You will ruin my makeup, I said, giggling, trying to control my crazy heartbeat. He then started kissing my forehead, nose, cheek, and all over my face. His actions were making me insane. Stop, I giggled lightly, hitting his arm. He laughed and walked into his closet. You two look cute together. Such a lovey-dovey couple. I just smiled at her words. Soon she was done with my hair and makeup. She left and I was left alone with Taehyung. I couldn't help but blush at the thoughts of what he just did. But Taehyung's voice snapped me out of my thoughts. You did good. Just continue to act like that. Taehyung said, and I turned to face him. Let's go, he said, and I got up. He gestured his arm to me to link mine with his. Stay by my side and only speak to the ladies, but there's no need to get too comfortable with them. We walked downstairs and all the eyes were on us, and I suddenly started feeling intimidated. We entered the hall filled with people as the young's parents came and greeted us first. You look lovely, Ryan, the young's mom said. Thank you. The evening goes on, but the whole time I was feeling someone's eyes on me. I ignored it at first, but then I tried to look around to see who, and then I realized who was staring at me. I saw a beautiful girl staring at me. Her black dress fit perfectly around her hourglass figure. I gave her a smile and turned back to face Taehyung. He smiled at me as we made eye contact. I'm going to get us a drink. Stay here, he said, and before I knew it, he kissed my cheek and walked away. His action slightly made me blush, but I knew it was for the people. The girl who was staring at me before grabbed my arm, making me face her. So you are the girl that came between us. Excuse me? Listen to me carefully. If you think you can take Taehyung from me, then you are wrong. He is mine, just mine, she said, slightly lifting her voice. And you are supposed to be? I asked. I am his girlfriend, Julianne, she said with a smirk. Well, I am his fiancée, soon to be wife in 2 days. Taehyung has told me about girls like you. You want him for his looks, money, and for... I stated. I could see the anger burning in her eyes. Did you just call me a slut? She hissed. I never called you that, but if shoe fits, then wear it, Cinderella. As I said, I saw her hand coming to hit my face when Taehyung grabbed her hand, which was about to hit me. "Don't you dare to touch my fiancé," he said, raising his voice. People's attention turned towards us. "Who let this bitch in? Throw her out right now," he said, pushing her into a guard's arms. I was shocked. Did he just throw her out for me? Taehyung then turned to me and cupped my face in his hands and kissed my forehead. I knew he was acting, but it was feeling so good and real. "Are you okay?" he asked, sounding genuinely concerned, and I nodded. Soon the party came to the end. "Thank you for standing for me," I said, and he simply nodded. Me and Taehyung, we both were standing facing each other, holding hands, lost in each other's eyes. "Do you take Kim Taehyung as your husband?" "Yes, I do." Without breaking the eye contact, we both accepted all the vows. "You may now kiss the bride." Breaking the eye contact, I looked down on our hands. Taehyung leaned down on my face and gave me a quick peck. He was looking not bothered, but my heart was going insane. Small drops of sweat popped out of my forehead. I smiled, trying to look all normal. Spending some time with the guests and the family members, Taehyung held my hand. "You must be tired. Let's go." The drive home was pretty silent. He opened the car door, helping me out since I was wearing a long and a heavy dress. Once we entered the house, he finally broke the silence. "Go get changed into something comfortable. I'm going to get something to eat because all the house helpers already left." I nodded my head as yes. Changing my clothes, I removed my makeup and went downstairs. Sitting on the sofa, I was waiting for Taehyung when suddenly I heard a whisper close to my ear. "Hi, princess. Are you waiting for your husband?" I felt my heart stop beating. I tried to shout, but he put his hand on my mouth. I looked around, hoping Taehyung would come. "Waiting for someone to save you? Oh, poor girl. Taehyung will take his time," he teased as tears started rolling my face. "Why don't we have some fun?" he said, making me struggle to get from his grip even more, but the guy was too big. He covered my mouth with a cloth and held my hands above my head with one hand. His free hand started rubbing my right harshly. I tried to kick him, but nothing seemed to get him to loosen his grip. I again tried to scream as loud as I can, but it came out muffled. I let out a loud scream that was barely heard as he gave me an evil smirk. His grip around my hand loosened slightly, and I took this opportunity to grab the vase and smashed it on his head. He slapped me on my face hard. He was holding his head with one hand, and with the other he was holding me when Taehyung entered and without warning started beating the guy. I got rid of the cloth that was stuffed in my mouth and started covering myself. I didn't realize how long I sat there hugging myself. I snapped out of thoughts when Taehyung lightly touched my shoulder, making me jump. The guards were taking the guy. Without thinking, I wrapped my arms around Taehyung and started sobbing. He patted my back, trying to calm me down. I didn't stop crying anytime soon, so he lifted me up with my face still buried in his chest. He carried me upstairs into the room and made me sit on the bed. "I'm going to prepare a bath for you." Soon I took shower and came out of bathroom, but when I came out, Taehyung wasn't in the room. Maybe he don't want to be near me after another man touched me. The thoughts made my heart ache. Soon Taehyung entered with a mug in his hand. "Here," he said as he put the mug on the nightstand. "You have to finish it," he said, and I nodded. Finishing the glass of warm milk, I laid back. By the time Taehyung went to change into his PJs, he also came and laid down on the other side of the bed. "Good night, Ryan. I know it's hard, but try to sleep," he said calmly. "Good night," I mumbled. I couldn't believe what had happened with me, what I had done to deserve this. I have always been kind to everyone, but what I got in return. A while went by and I couldn't sleep. I was feeling afraid. I kept on looking around the room to make sure no one was there, hiding. My body was shaking slightly. I suddenly felt a strong hand around my waist, making me gasp. It was Taehyung. "He's gone. No one else is here except two of us." I snuggled into his chest more, making him tighten his grip around me. His gestures helped me calm down, and without knowing I had fallen asleep. His scent and touch suddenly made me forget all my worries. Next morning I woke up but didn't have the courage to open my eyes. The thoughts of last night made me afraid, but I could feel Taehyung's arms around me, comforting me. I opened my eyes, looking up at him. He was asleep. This was the first time I saw him sleeping. He always wake up before me. I was staring at him while stuck in my own thoughts, and I didn't realize that until I heard his voice. "You can take a pic of me if you want," he said, catching me off guard, and then he opened his eyes. His arms were still wrapped around me. No, I started not knowing what to say. "It's fine, my wifey. You can stare at me all day if you want," he said with a smirk, making me laugh lightly, and I hit him on the chest. I snuggled into his chest, closing my eyes again. "How are you feeling?" he said, and I understood he was talking about the last night. "Scared." I answered a single word and looked at him. "But I'm feeling better because you are here with me. Thank you," I continued. "You shouldn't be thanking me. I came so late," he said, and I could see the guilt in his eyes. "No, you were not late," I said. "How wasn't I?" he questioned. "Because you came before he could go further and do it with me. But still, he did touch you." "But you saved me," I assured him. Taehyung hugged me tighter as if a huge burden was lifted off of him. We stayed like that for a while. His kindness made me blush. I hid my face in his chest. How did an accident like this manage to bring us close to each other? I was sitting waiting for Taehyung because he promised me to take me to amusement park. While waiting, I was biting my nails when he entered in house. Before I could say anything, he came and said, "We have to leave for London." "London? For what?" "Because it's revenge time." "It's revenge time, baby." "But how we will take revenge? I mean, he's a dangerous man, so how we will be able to take our revenge?" I asked, worried, because I knew Mr. Park can kill anyone like he killed my dad. "Why, I have something to tell you. It's important and hope you will understand what I'm gonna tell you." My eyebrows furrowed at his words. "Why you are so dead serious? You are scaring me." "No, don't be scared, but it's time for you to know some things which were kept hidden from you the whole time." "Okay, tell me. I want to know what is so important from which I was not aware." He held my both hands in his hands. "I know it will be shocking for you, but still I have to tell you that your father wasn't just a businessman, but also a mafia person." My eyes were about to pop out of my eye sockets. Mafia? My dad?" He nodded his head. No, I don't believe this. Mafia kill people, but my dad, he never raised his voice at anyone." "And you are saying he's a mafia?" "Not all mafia kill innocent people. He was also one of them, but Mr. Park, he's the opposite. He killed your dad because he wanted your dad's company, so he set the trap, and your dad fell in his trap. Mr. Park's wife wanted to get divorced from him. That's why he played the game and killed both of them." But how I never found the truth. I still can't believe that. My heart, my mind, both are not accepting that my dad was a mafia person. "There's something more you need to know." I looked at him with questioning. Suddenly his hand became sweaty. "I don't know what your reaction will be." "Won't." He released a deep breath in the air. "Say it." So the thing is, I am also a mafia person." He closed his eyes for some seconds, and I was constantly staring at him. I could feel how stressed or nervous he was just by his shaky, sweaty, cold hands. "But why everyone was hiding their real identity from me?" "Because we care about you. Your dad doesn't want it to make you worried." "And what about you?" "Me? I also wanted the same." "Okay then, since I know that you're also a mafia person, is there anything else you are hiding from me?" "No, that was the only thing." "So now tell me what your plan is. How we will get Mr. Park. As you said, he's also a mafia, then it won't be easy to reach him." "Don't worry about him. Leave it on me." I nodded my head in understanding. "We will be leaving tomorrow for London. I can't wait to kill that man from my own hands. Just for that mere company he killed my dad. Now I will kill him for my father. Just wait, Mr. Park." 2 days passed and we were in London. Taehyung was waiting for the right time to catch Mr. Park in the cage. We were on the way to have dinner at a good restaurant. Taehyung's guards were following us. The security was quite tight. I was sitting with Taehyung in the back seat of the car, holding hands and chit-chatting when suddenly car stopped. Before anyone could think anything or understand anything, the both windows glasses shattered, which made me scream. Taehyung took out his gun immediately. Hide, Ryan. Sit down and bend. Don't raise your head until I come back. Where are you going? The time has come, baby. Just wait here. I will bring that murderer to you. No, don't go. Shh. I want my wife to be brave like a lioness. Be my strength, not my weakness. A tear escaped my eyes, but I wiped harshly and nodded my head. Sorry, go and get my dad's killer to me. I'm waiting for you. He smiled and nodded his head. He loaded his gun and opened the door. The whole silent street was echoing with gunshots. Both parties were trying to win the battle. I was hiding under the seat. After almost half an hour, it became all silent. I thought it's over, but I was wrong. A loud scream made me put my hands on my ears, and then again a gunshot broke the silence. Almost 2 minutes later, car's door opened. Raising my head, I saw Taehyung, but watching him, my heart ached. He was bleeding. His white shirt was drenched in blood. I got up and stepped out of car. You blood? Shh, I'm fine. But you bleeding? I was shaking. Tears were soaking my face. He pulled me into his arms and hugged me tightly. I'm all good, Ryan. Bullet passed just by touching my shoulder. There's nothing to worry. I nodded while sobbing in his chest. One of Taehyung's guards' car was gone already. Let's go now. What about Mr. Park? Just wait a little. He smirked. I nodded and turned back to sit in the car, but before sitting in the car, I looked around and it was a huge mistake. Men were laying on ground tied, drenched in blood. There were around 15 men, and someone's head was blown or someone's eyes were out of his eye sockets. I immediately put my hands on my eyes because the view was really creepy. Taehyung came and removed my hands from my eyes. Be brave. Without giving him any answer, I sat in the car and closed my eyes, resting my head back on the back seat. After some time, car stopped and I opened my eyes. Opening the door, Taehyung went out to my side and opened the door for me. Stepping out of the car, I took a deep breath to compose myself. Holding my hand, Taehyung walked in the house. Without questioning, I was simply following him. He took me into the basement. As he opened the door, I saw Mr. Park sitting on a chair tied with rope. Watching us, he started laughing like a maniac. Done with laughing, he glared at us. What do you think, boy? You can harm me. Ignoring him, Taehyung turned to me. What do you want to do with him? I just want him to be dead. Don't torture him. Why? Because he shot my dad dead. He didn't torture him, so I don't want him to be tortured. Just kill him. Dad? Which dad you are talking about, you little bitch? Hearing him, Taehyung rushed to him and punched him hard on his face. Don't you dare to address my wife disrespectfully. Just kill him, Taehyung. Taehyung nodded his head and took out his gun. Handing me the gun, he said, This is your time, Ryan. Shoot him. I aimed the gun on Mr. Park. You were asking about my dad, right? Before you die, I want to tell you about my dad. The man you killed in the Korea just for the mere company. Han Sejun. Do you remember him? Han Sejun? You are the one who was with him. But he introduced you as his slut. Yeah, he said that, but I understand he said that just so that he could save me from you. You would definitely have killed me if you knew I am his daughter. No, please forgive me. He started pleading, but I ignored his pleas. I never thought I would kill someone, but thinking of my dad, I didn't waste more time and shot him in the head. Within a second, he was dead. Finally, the revenge is taken. Let's go now. I was lost in my thoughts when Taehyung entered in the room. He came near me and sat on the bed next to me. Where are you lost? Nothing special, just thinking about my dad and Mr. Park. Everything is finished already. Don't think too much about the past. I nodded. I want to ask you something, Ryan. I gave him a questioning look. Do you still want to continue our relationship? I mean, I'm a Mafia person and I cut him off. I don't care from where you belong to. You fulfill your promise and now it's my turn to fulfill mine. No, you don't need to. I kept you with me just to protect you and help you, and now our mission is accomplished. You don't need to force yourself to live in this relationship. I'm not forcing myself. I want to live with you. Suddenly, I felt his eyes lit up. His hands were shaking before, but hearing me, he relaxed. If you really want to stay with me, then I'm dying to live a peaceful life with you. He pulled me into his arms. Me too, I said wholeheartedly. Pulling us apart, he looked directly in my eyes. I was really scared and nervous about your decision, so now give me my present. Present? For what? I helped you to take revenge, so now it's your time to help me by giving me your. My eyes got bigger in shock. Don't worry, I was just kidding. It's all yours now, I said, and now it was his time to be shocked. Taehyung made me feel the emotion I have never felt before. My family have always loved me and taken care of me, but that was different feeling. I felt like I have everything I could ask for in the world. We were sitting in a restaurant, fully empty like usual. He always booked the whole restaurant every time he took me to the restaurant. I was thinking when to tell him about my surprise. I was arranging the words when Taehyung's voice snapped me out of my thoughts. What are you thinking about? He asked curiously whilst moving his chair near me. He never liked the distance between us. You will find out soon, I said with a smile. You are making me worried. Is there something wrong? Oh, Mr. Mafia is getting worried. I teased him and he chuckled. I love it when I see you smiling. Who would have known that we will end up happily married after the incident with your dad? After a pause, he continued speaking. Entering in my life, you have changed me completely. You made me know how it feels to love someone, to cherish someone, and what a happy life is. I love you so much, Ryan. I was really happy hearing his confession. We shared a passionate kiss. After the kiss, I decided to reveal the surprise. I have something to tell you. I have been thinking about when to tell you, and now I think it should be revealed. I looked through my bag and got a piece of paper out and handed it to him. He looked at me curiously when I told him to open it and read it. Is it a love letter or something? He asked teasingly. It's more than a love letter. Just read it. Wait, you are pregnant? He asked, completely shocked. I. He opened his mouth but closed it again. I could tell he didn't know what to say. He suddenly lifted me up and spun me around, my hands around his neck and his arms wrapped around my waist as he put me down. I am over the moon. Yay, I'm gonna be father. I love you, Ryan. I chuckled on his excitement. I love you too, Mr. Mafia.